StrayAllDay.com. Tune into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, are you an artist or an entrepreneur? This is a very important conversation that we need to have specifically for the entrepreneurs out there, specifically those of you who are in the creative spaces. I'll get to explaining what that is and why I believe this is so important. But before we get started, let me tell everybody, I send out a text message every day for free to everybody who's in my text community. This message is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. I call it the Daily Motivation, and I will give it to you for free every single day straight to your phone. All you got to do to get it is raise your hand by texting me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every morning when the Daily Motivation text goes out, whoever has raised their hand and let me know they want to get that text by texting me, you'll be getting that message. So just text me right now and let me know. Just send me a message and say, Dre, let me get that Daily Motivation. My number, again, is down below in the description. If you didn't write it down and text me while I was saying it, it's down below in the description of this episode. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is the place where I take you to the next level. So any of you who's been listening to this show and you're wondering, Dre, do you do anything else besides having this podcast and sending text messages and write books? Do you do anything else? The answer is yes. I do a whole lot of other things. One of them is I run Work on Your Game University. That is where the high level game gets disseminated. You thought the high level game was right here on this show. There's a higher level above this. There's a higher level above what you get here on this show. That is all happening inside of Work on Your Game University. The way you get access, the way you become a member, the way you can get that game inside of Work on Your Game University is to become a member by going to, guess what? WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. We make this so simple, everybody. WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. That is how you get into the university. That's how you get enrolled. I am Professor Emeritus at Work on Your Game University. You get started there. Again, that link is down below in the description, along with the link to the number to get my daily motivation text, along with the link to get your AG1 from Athletic Greens, get your AquaTrue water filter from AquaTrue, and to get your home goods, needs, and snacks covered by GoPuff. All of those links are down below in the description of today's episode. So any of you is wondering, is there something else? Is there more after listening to the show? Yes, there's a whole lot more. This is not the end. This is the beginning. This show is not the end, it's the beginning, in case any of you didn't know. So let's get into this topic. This episode is made especially for those of you in the creator economy, where there are many entrepreneurs who do your business by creating new things, such as content, books, courses, what are other things are you all creating, etc. Things like that. And you need to master the balancing act between creating stuff and actually doing entrepreneurial work, which is a challenge for a lot of creators out there. And the reason why it's a challenge for a lot of creators to master this balance is because many of you have no idea what entrepreneurial work actually looks like. You have no idea what entrepreneurial work actually is. And because they are not the same. Being a creator and being an entrepreneur are not the same, even though there are creators who are entrepreneurs. I would even put myself in that category. I'm a creator. I create things. I create content. I create books. I have courses. And I'm also an entrepreneur. So there are some creators who are both. And there are some creators who are both, and they are intentional about their entrepreneurial work. I am in that category, which is why I have Work on Your Game University, or I work with people who are maybe in the creative space or maybe not creators, but you want to sharpen up your entrepreneurial game. I work with those individuals. And there are also creators out there who are technically entrepreneurs, but you have no idea what the hell you're doing as an entrepreneur. You know what you're doing as a creator, but you have no idea what you're doing as an entrepreneur, and it is slowing you down, and it is the main impediment to you making more money in your business. I work with those individuals as well. Again, this is another reason why we have Work on Your Game University. Is another reason why we have this show. There's a reason why I did episode 1862. The title is, if you want to be a creator or influencer, listen to this now. If you have not listened to that episode and you are a creator, you're a YouTuber, you're a TikToker, you're a podcaster, you have courses, you create content, you create any kind of material that you are trying to make money from, you need to listen to that episode so you understand what the hell is going on and you don't get used up in this, what they're now calling the creator economy. All right, these are not the same thing. Creator and entrepreneur, they are not the same, even though there are some people who are both. So then I'm going to help you understand them. I'm going to help you decipher which one you are spending the majority of your time being, because it plays a big role in the outcomes of your business or the lack of outcomes in your business right now, today. So let's get into it. Point number one. Topic once again, are you an artist or an entrepreneur? Number one, an artist is a creator. An artist is a creator. So I'm using these terms together. They mean the same thing for the context of today's episode. Artists are simply people who create stuff. So if you think of an artist like a painter, what do? You give a painter a blank canvas, or you give them a blank wall and a set of paints, and they just go create something, right? They create something out of pretty much nothing. If you write books, you are an artist. You are creating things. You took a blank document or blank sheets of paper and you got your words out of your head and you put them down on paper, and before you know it, there's a book. You create courses. That is artistry. There was nothing there. You created this course out of nothing. Now it exists. Now you're putting it out there. If you are creating content, that is artist work. So artists, and again, I'm using them interchangeably in today's episode. When you create content, like when I record episodes of this show, everything that's going to be in this episode, the 20-30 minutes of this episode becomes, none of it existed until I recorded it and made it into something. I took nothing and made it into something. Artists are creators. Artists like creating new things. This is what we do. It is our nature to create new things, like content, courses, books, programs, free giveaways, etc. I know a lot of entrepreneurs in the creator economy who are always creating something new. And while creating something new is not necessarily a bad idea, it's not bad to create something new. Somebody got to create something, right? Everything that exists, somebody had to create it, right? So it's not like it's a bad idea to create stuff. The challenge of being a creator at heart is that you are always defaulting to creating something else, never focusing on what actually drives your business, which is not creating new things. Let me say that sentence again, because this might confuse some people, but you're going to understand it by the time this episode is over. Creating something new is not a bad idea, but the challenge with being a creator at heart, those of you who just naturally create, when you wake up in the morning and you have time on your hands, you have space to do whatever you want, you go create stuff. Right? That's you. You are a creator. You are an artist. All right. The challenge with being this individual is that you usually default to always creating new stuff rather than focusing on what actually drives your business, which is not creating new stuff. Creating new stuff is not the main driver of your business. If you have not read the book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, I mentioned this book at least 30 times on this show over the last 4 years. If you haven't read that book yet, then I don't know what the hell to tell you, because you heard me mention it at least 30 times. Go get the book Good to Great by Jim Collins and read it. One of the things that he talks about in there is, for every great business, they all are very clear on what the main driver of their business is. You need to be clear on what the main driver of your business is, and that's where your focus needs to go. It is not creating things. I don't care what your business is. Creating new stuff is not the main driver of your business. Like recording new episodes of this show is not the main driver of my business. Even if this show produces a whole bunch of money, it is not the main driver of my business. You need to know what that is, and we're going to get into that. So just because you created something does not mean you're going to make any money, by the way. Creating things does not mean that you're going to make any money. It damn sure does not mean you're owed money. Nobody's owed money when you're an entrepreneur, by the way. You can listen to episode 1862 where I laid that out, because there was this ridiculous article in the New York Times maybe a couple years ago. What episode are we on now? So this is about a couple years ago. New York Times did this ridiculous article written by a ridiculous quote-unquote journalist who's not a real journalist, named Taylor Lorenz. And she was laying out the plight of these creators who were complaining about how much time and effort they put into creating, and saying that the platforms for which they created, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., YouTube, that the platforms should be giving the creators more money because of the effort that the creators put into creating things. And the whole article is written as if the creators were talking as if they were workers trying to unionize, like employees at a job trying to unionize because they felt like their wages were too low. First of all, there are no wages when you're an entrepreneur. So the whole article was just based on a false premise. And it was ridiculous that the New York Times even printed this garbage. But it made perfect sense when I read through the article and said, well, first of all, these creators have no idea what entrepreneurship actually is. This quote unquote journalist, and I'm using the term very, what's the word? I'm being very charitable when I use the term journalist for this woman, Miss Lorenz. She's not a journalist. She's a hack. But this journalist clearly does not know what entrepreneurship is, because she's not an entrepreneur herself. She's a worker. And why the New York Times actually ran this article, well, there's plenty of reasons why they ran it, but they're all into the wokeness and the victimhood mentality stuff. They love pushing this stuff because it draws eyeballs. They're in the business of drawing eyeballs. They know the main driver of their business. New York Times knows their business, and it ain't necessarily doing straight up and down journalism. It used to be, but it's not anymore. But that's a different conversation for a different day. There are a bunch of creators out here who believe they are owed a certain amount of money just because of the amount of work they've done as artists, which is 100% false. That is not how entrepreneurship works. You can make that claim when you have a job. When you work for another person, you can make the claim, hey, I've done this much work, so you should give me this much money. Any of you who has that line of thinking, if you think in that framework, if that is the skeleton outline of your thinking, then what you need to do is go fill out some job applications and go work for someone else. If you have this frame of mind. Once you step into the entrepreneurship space and you wish to call yourself an entrepreneur, understand you are owed absolutely nothing for the amount of work you put in. You could do a whole bunch of work and get absolutely nothing for it. Or you could do a little bit of work and make a lot. Or somewhere in between. You are owed nothing. This is a false idea. It has absolutely nothing to do with entrepreneurship. This is not how business works. Unfortunately, many artists have never been taught this, and this is the issue. This is the reason why we have many people stepping into the space where you are technically an entrepreneur. By definition, you are an entrepreneur, but you have no idea what an entrepreneur is. So you're an entrepreneur, but you don't even know what it is. You're in a game and don't even know how to play. This is what's happening with a whole bunch of people. This is why I'm here. All right, this is one of my reasons for existing in the marketplace. I've told you all, my superpower out here is, and yes, in Work on Your Game University, I tell you the 4 pillars of what we do there is mindset, strategy, systems, and execution, accountability/execution. My superpower, though, that supersedes all of that is my ability to break things down and put them back together. I take an issue that may be complex to most people, I'll break it down, and then I'm able to put it back together in a way that I can help anybody understand it. So I can help any of you understand anything that I understand, even if you know absolutely nothing about it, never heard of it before, never participated in it before in your life. That is my superpower. All right, that's why I do what I do here on this microphone and in my written material on a daily basis. I know what my superpower is. You need to know what yours is. And creators, your ability to create, hey, maybe that's your superpower. That's fine, but you better go get a job with somebody who actually knows how to make money, because creating things is not a driver of money in a general sense. Everybody understand what I'm saying here? So this is the reason why, and I know some entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs. These are people who are actual entrepreneurs. They actually understand what entrepreneurship is. They can define it. They can lay it out for you. They can give you, their resume of what they've done entrepreneurial. They are bona fide entrepreneurs. I know seasoned entrepreneurs who really turn their nose up and look down on, they turn their nose up at and they look down on creators, because these creators are getting this entrepreneur label, and these seasoned entrepreneurs who I know, they get really annoyed with the fact that they're now put in the same category as these creators who are coming in here and know shit about entrepreneurship, are calling themselves entrepreneurs. And I've heard some entrepreneurs who I know, I can trust, and I respect, say some really nasty things about people who are in the creator space to try to draw a clear line of separation between them and the creators. And I understand why they're doing it, even though they are logically and factually inaccurate. But I understand why they're doing it, because they're looking at these creators and like, these creators don't know a damn thing about business, but they're getting called entrepreneurs. They're not entrepreneurs. You know what I had to do to be an entrepreneur? Look what they're doing. We're in 2 different worlds. And they're right, they are in 2 different worlds, but technically these people are still entrepreneurs. But let me be the one who smooths this all out. All right, I'm going to make this real clear for everybody. Let's move on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is, are you an artist or are you an entrepreneur? Number 2, entrepreneurs, on the other hand. So I just told you what an artist is. Here's what an entrepreneur is. Entrepreneur is a person who focuses on their main duty as a business owner. Anybody know what your main duty is as a business owner? There's only one main duty. I don't care what business you're in. One main duty. Here it is. Your duty is to generate money for your business. Nico, I want to leave that 5-second gap in there. I left that gap in there on purpose because I want everybody to hear that. I want everybody to let that thought sink in. I know sometimes I give you an idea and I go right to the next one, So sometimes you might not be able to process everything. Sometimes I'll leave a little pause so you can process everything that I said. I want you to process that point. Your main duty as an entrepreneur is to generate money for your business. Posting on YouTube might generate money for your business. It might. TikTok, podcasting, it might. Understand that you can be an artist and an entrepreneur at the same time. I already told you that. But to make money, you need to focus on the things that actually drive revenue and put money in your pocket. Creating more content, or making another course, or making another free giveaway, or any other new idea you thought up in your dreams last night and you decided to create it today, those do not put money in your pocket directly. What puts money in your pocket? What puts money in your pocket is your ability to sell the thing that you created, not your ability to make the thing that you created. Your ability to sell the thing is what puts money in your pocket. So if you're a YouTuber and you do a whole bunch of brand deals to make money, what puts the money in your pocket? It's not the video that you created, it's the brand deal that you can negotiate and sign and get agreed to and get paid for. That's what actually puts money in your pocket, is the brand deal. Now, what allows the brand deal to happen is that you have an audience and that you're getting this many views and subscribers and et cetera, et cetera. So it indirectly can help, but as an entrepreneur, your focus is on what directly brings in the money, not what indirectly brings in the money. The indirect things are pieces to the deal, but the main deal is, how do I sell another brand deal? Because that's where the money comes in. Because if you don't do another brand deal, you can make a bunch of videos with no brand deals, right? All right, so the brand deal is where the money comes in. So who's the person who could go get that next brand deal and the next one and the next one? Is it you? It should be you if you're calling yourself an entrepreneur. Now, if it's one of your business partners, that's cool, but if you can't go and make the money happen yourself, creator, and somebody else is making the money happen for you and your business, what happens if that person decides to go away, or they decide to stop helping you generate money for yourself? What if they decide they don't want to work for you anymore, they want to go do their own thing? What's going to happen to your business? Because since you can't sell anything, you got a problem. You got a 5-alarm emergency is what you have. Now, the exception to this is if you're working with somebody else, in which case you're not an entrepreneur, you are an employee. So which one are you? That's my question to every listener of today's episode. Which one are you? Are you an artist, or are you an entrepreneur? Are you an employee, or are you an entrepreneur? Entrepreneurs focus on what actually drives revenue and puts money in their pockets. That is your mandate as an entrepreneur. All right, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you must do this. This is not optional. You must focus on what drives revenue and puts money in your pocket. Even if you are an artist at heart, my natural inclination is to be an artist. Even if that's you, you must either train yourself to be an entrepreneur or partner with somebody who is an entrepreneur so that they can drive the money while you do all the creating. The challenge with you doing all the creating, you doing all this creating yourself and someone else driving the revenue is that if anything ever happens to that person, then you can't make any money. You have a problem. But if your business is going to thrive and you're going to make money that you want to make in business, somebody must be the entrepreneur. The question is it going to be you? My suggestion is that it should be you, because if it's not you, then you don't have any control over your business, at which point you may not have a business for long. Your business is in peril. Your business is in jeopardy because you can't actually drive any money. You got problems. Thing is, you can fix this. The good news about all of this is that you can fix this. So let's move on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is, are you an artist or an entrepreneur? Number 3, you may be familiar with the term the starving artist. And by the way, there is a book out there called Real Artists Don't Starve. If you haven't heard of that book, now you have. I just told you about it. You should go read it. Any of you who is an artist at heart. If I'm describing your plight right now, you should go read that book called Real Artists Don't Starve. Where'd the term starving artist come from? Where'd the concept of the starving artist come from? It comes from the artists who are great at creating, but they never think about or focus strongly on selling or monetizing what they are doing. Better stated, the starving artist they think about selling and monetizing, but they never focus on it strongly enough to get good at it. In other words, they don't put the majority of their energy into it. They keep their energy on the artist thing because that's what they are naturally inclined to do. Thus, they end up starving. This is why you see a lot of artists in the entertainment space end up losing a lot of their money, or not making the kind of money that they want to make, or maybe complaining about the fact that they didn't make the money that they wanted to make after the fact. Why? Because they never focused on the business side of things. They were only focused on the creative side, and the people who were focused on the business were making a whole bunch of money off their backs, and they didn't even realize it until it was too late. This is the starving artist. Even though the starving artist, is great at creating art, they are terrible at selling their art, or they don't sell their art at all. Thusly, they don't make any money from it, or they don't make the money that they could have made from it. Money is made, but it doesn't go to them. That's what really happens. The money is being made, just not going in their pockets. So if you don't want to be a starving artist, then you need to stop being an artist and you need to focus more on being an entrepreneur. I'll tell you something. When I first got into, I was posting videos on YouTube since 2005. Around 2009, this was shortly after Google had purchased YouTube. Google started monetizing videos on YouTube, and when it first started, they would monetize individual videos that were performing pretty well, and then they got around to allowing you the option or the opportunity to possibly monetize your entire channel. That meant every video you ever put out will get monetized. Nowadays, they do that damn near automatically, but back then, you had to actually apply and be approved for this to happen. And when I first got approved for this to happen, it was early. So at first, they monetized several of my videos as I was putting out videos, and I had a lot of momentum for the videos I was putting out at that time around basketball and fitness. In probably the second half of 2009, then in early 2010, that's when my whole channel got monetized, and I started getting checks every month from YouTube. I have been doing so ever since, the last 13 plus years. I remember when I first agreed to, or when I first was approved by YouTube to monetize my material, they had a creator's, the contract, the agreement. And it said, hey, make sure you agree to the terms and conditions, and you agree to the creator agreement, whatever they were calling it at the time. And I actually opened up that agreement, downloaded it, and read it. There's probably about 10 to 15 pages if I remember correctly. And I downloaded it and printed it out actually and read through the entire agreement because I wanted to see what they were actually doing. And I remember reading that contract, because that is a contract. Anytime you're on a website and you check the box that says I agree with the terms and conditions, you are effectively signing a contract. Any of you didn't know that. And I read through that document and I saw that YouTube said, you as the creator shall keep 55% of the money that you generate through ad revenue, and YouTube gets 45% of the money that's generated through your ad revenue. And that is still the deal to this very day for 99% of people who post videos on YouTube, a monetized video. So that made me think to myself, man, so if I make $1 on YouTube, well, not if I make $1, if $1 is generated from my material on YouTube, 55 cents goes to me, 45 cents goes to YouTube. And it's not even so much that it's a quote unquote bad deal, because there's nothing to compare it to. There's no baseline to compare. Bad is a relative term, so there's nothing to compare it to. But I was thinking to myself, well, YouTube's not offering to negotiate with me. It's not like they're coming to the table and saying, let's hammer this deal out, Dre. They're saying, this is the deal. You can take it or you can leave it. There was not a negotiation. There was not an option to say no. Well, there was an option to say no, but there was no alternative if I didn't like the original offer that they were making. And that made me think, okay, they have a monopoly here. They got a monopoly and they're just taking things the way that they want to take it. And not every creator is created equal. Right? Some creators are driving way more revenue than others. Why is everybody getting the exact same deal? I didn't like that. And that always stuck in my mind from the very beginning. And over the years, I talked to a lot of creators who were on YouTube and posting videos and stuff like that, even people with more subscribers, views, etc. than I had. And a lot of them didn't even know what the deal was. They didn't even know what percentage of money they were making. These are artists. All right, that's an artist. Now, you don't even know what's happening with the money in your business. You are an artist. Entrepreneurs, our number one focus is always on the money. Okay, there's nothing wrong with focusing on the money, especially if your goal is making money. What's wrong is when you're not focused on the money, if your goal is making money. So if you don't want to be a starving artist, you have to think like an entrepreneur. Keep in mind the 80-20 principle. 80% of our results come from 20% of our inputs. So you need to start spending 80% of your time doing the entrepreneurial stuff, which drives the money, and 20% of your time being an artist, as opposed to usually that's the opposite, what many creators have these days. You spend 80% of your time doing artistry and only 20% of your time doing business. In the creator economy, I would say the majority of creators have this equation. They got the equation backwards, the second one. They spend 80% of their time creating stuff, only 20% of their time focused on business. This is backwards. This is backwards. So they are either not making the kind of money that they want to make, or not even coming close to it, or they are complaining about how certain platforms should give them money that they feel they deserve because of what they create and the amount of content they put on those platforms. All right, they don't owe you anything. Artists, they don't owe you anything. If you want to be owed something as an artist, go get a job as an artist. Go work somewhere as an artist, and somebody will pay you a bi-weekly or monthly salary for you to create stuff. And then you know that you got a quote-unquote guaranteed paycheck, even though it's not really guaranteed. But if you want to eat what you kill and you want to get paid for the value you create, then you got to sell. You got to learn how to sell. This is how it works. For example, over here, Work on Your Game Incorporated. One thing that I decided in 2023 is that I wasn't creating anything new. Even though I told you all, my natural inclination, my natural state is to be an artist. I'm naturally an artist. I am a creator. That's why I've written 33 books. That's why I got a show that comes out every single day. That's why I got a daily motivation text message. That's why I created who knows how many thousands of videos that I got on the internet right now. I probably have more original content on the internet for free than any human being you can name. Nobody's created more original content than me over the last 20 years. Nobody. So I am naturally an artist. However, I decided that going into 2023, I was going to really focus on being an entrepreneur, not on being an artist, and not create anything new this year, which I have not. I have not created anything new. I've not written any new books. I've not created any new courses. What else new could I create? No new free giveaways and handouts. The only thing I've done that has been, I've created episodes of this show. I've created my daily motivation text. I write my articles. Those are the things that I do because those are my three best tactical skills. But I'm only focused on selling more of the things that I already have. Specifically, what's the thing you hear me talk about every episode? I don't really talk about my books that often. What's the main thing you hear me talk about every episode? Work on Your Game University. It's pushing that. And so far this year, as of, did I say this on this show? I think I might have said it in a live stream I was doing yesterday. But so far this year, our revenue is up 40%. We're up 40% in revenue so far this year. Our average cart value, which is basically how much money somebody is spending every time we consummate a transaction, is up 660% so far in 2023 as of this recording. I'm recording this in late May, early June. So up 660% average spend per transaction. Even though our number of actual transactions, the actual volume of transactions is down 79%. But our revenue is up 40% and average spend per customer is up 660%. Those of you who don't understand those numbers, I just explained them to you. But if you don't understand what all that means, what it means is we have a lot fewer transactions, but there's a whole lot more money being made. Why? Well, one reason, this is not the only reason, but one reason is because I stopped focusing on creating at all. I put zero into creating, and instead of the 80-20 rule, we got the 0-100 rule. All right, 0% on creating, 100% on the business side of things. That's what I've been focusing on this year. So I'm sharing that with you, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that those of you entrepreneurs out there who already have stuff to sell, it's not about you creating more and more stuff to make more money. It's about you getting focused on what actually makes the money, which is not you creating more stuff. This is why in Work on Your Game University, this is one of the main things we help people with. The first thing is the mindset, and understand the mindset. What I'm talking to you today, this is mindset. All right, this is part of the mindset that I'm talking about. So when you hear me talk about mindset as the foundation, it's not just discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative. Of course, that's a big part of it. Yes, of course. I've written a bunch of books about that stuff. That's all going to be part of it. But it's discipline in what? What are you being disciplined about? Confidence in doing what? Mental toughness for what? Personal initiative to do what? All right, those are the things that are the foundational pieces of moving in your business when you apply them to the right areas. So this is what we do in Work on Your Game University. This is one of the things we do inside of Work on Your Game University. In case any of you was wondering, and Dre's always talking about that university. I wonder what it's like. I wonder what happens in there. You don't have to wonder. You should go to workonyourgameuniversity.com so you can stop wondering, solve the unsolved mysteries, and let's get to work, especially you entrepreneurs who are serious about making more money in your business. I just explained to you how it's happening over here. I'm not saying you got to do the exact thing that I did, but I will coach you on what you need to do for your specific situation. So, anytime you're using words should or deserve in the same sentence as an entrepreneur, you are on your way or already are a starving artist. All right, and starving artists don't last long. Starving artists, well, you starve to death. That's pretty much what happens when you're a starving artist. You don't want to be a starving artist. I already told you what you need to do and where you need to go, but I'll tell you again in a moment. Let's first recap today's class, which is, are you an artist or an entrepreneur? This is made especially for those who are noticing, and those of you who are, all of us, living in a creator economy where there are entrepreneurs who do your business by creating new stuff. You need to understand the difference between being a creator and being an entrepreneur. First of all, an artist/creator, I'm using them again interchangeably in today's episode. Artists create new things: content, courses, books, programs, giveaways, etc. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are always creating something new. Understand, like I said in episode 1862, there is a difference between being an artist and being an entrepreneur. And just because you create stuff does not mean you are owed anything. It means nothing. Number two, entrepreneurs focus on their main duty as business owners, which is to generate revenue for the business. What is the main thing that puts money in your pocket? You need to know the answer to that question, and you need to focus your energy on the things that put money in your business. If your business is going to thrive and you're going to make money in business, somebody must be the entrepreneur. I would strongly suggest that entrepreneur be you. Because if the entrepreneur is someone other than you and you don't know how to generate money in your business, what happens if that person goes away? Well, your whole business falls apart because they were the salesperson. All right, the person who really runs the business is the person who makes the money come in. Number three, you may be familiar with the term starving artist. Where does that term come from? It comes from the artists who are great at creating, but they never think about how to actually make the money from their creations. Therefore, they starve, right? Because they don't know how to go and make money from their stuff. Remember the 80-20 principle? 80% of your results come from 20% of your inputs. The challenge for many creators is that you spend 80% of your time creating, only 20% of your time on the money. You need to flip that around and spend 80% of your time on the money, 20% of your time on creating. Over here, Working Your Game this year, we flipped that to 100-0. 100% of the time on the money, 0% of the time on creating. I have not created a single new product in 2023, and I do not plan on creating a single new product this year unless somebody offers me a whole lot of money to do so. Hey, did you see how that works? You see how that works? Y'all catch what I said there? I hope y'all caught what I did there. But all that said, text me. Let me know the best idea you got from today's masterclass. What are you going to do different based on what you heard here today? My number is 305-384-6894 to text. Next, Work on Your Game University. You want to make more money in your business. All right. If you would like to make more money, you want people to spend more money every time they spend something with you, and you want to reach your financial goals so you can take care of yourself, your family, your extended family, your community, give to charity, whatever it is you want to do financially that you are not empowered to do just yet, but you know you have the potential to do so, join Work on Your Game University by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Again, that's workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.